What does it look like if you X-ray the Cybertruck? Let's find out. So a couple months ago, after we got our Cybertruck, we saw this photo on Facebook, and it was a Cybertruck, but it had the rear quarter panel completely off. The panel was off. But underneath that, it was a cast, and it was awesome. I mean, it actually looked like it should be a wrap. And we said, we think that's exactly what we do. So we started actually, right when we saw that, we started working on this project. This is already revolutionary the way it is. You have to appreciate the engineering marvel that they put into this car. So if you look underneath it, I mean, it's built like a tank. That was the inspiration behind this project. We started collecting a bunch of images from wherever we could find. We watched a bunch of videos. So, thank you, videos from like Monroe Live and stuff to get some context. And then after that, we also took out a lot of our teardowns ourselves as well, just to see a little bit better. And then from then on, we actually started rendering it out. So the final product will be slightly more higher res than the product that you'll see behind, but the design is essentially done. It's not really going to change much, but we did design it in 3 different variations. So we have like the blue, like a purple, and then we also have like the black and white, which is typically, I think, what people refer to as X-rays. So we have the rear quarter panel here, completely X-rayed. And you can see this is the casting right here behind it, right? And then this is how it looks, all the cabling that goes underneath it. I mean, underneath, this is essentially what it'll look like. So this video, like we're gonna reveal to you at the end of this video exactly what it looks like once we finish all of this side. But it's not a how-to video because we have a lot of like how-to videos on our courses.testbros.com where you can actually watch some free courses on how we do this. But we're gonna explain to you a little bit more about, the process behind this. But this is cut in our do-yourself kit version. So we have 2 variations. One is going to be a pro version where it's not cut. They would have to lay it out. We'll give you kind of like a cheat sheet of how it should be laid out, but they would have to trim it all afterwards, right? So that's one version that's going to be available. The second version is actually the do-yourself version. And one of the ways we do this is if you look closely at here, there's going to be backing paper cuts. And then it's cut exactly to size. There's no blading at all. So if you're a beginner, you've never done this before, we highly recommend. So we're gonna get started. I have this laid out. Again, we're not really teaching you how to do it, but maybe you'll learn a couple things. You got kind of line everything up first, right? So you wanna make sure that everything is flat. And I have a bunch of magnets right now, but we're gonna use some tape as well. And then you wanna align this corner, and you can see right here it lines right to the edge, and then this also lines up right to the edge right here. So we are solid. All right, so once we're solid, we're gonna use some of this frog tape, absolute favorite in the vinyl space. I love this tape, it's so easy to use. We're just going to be using the tape here and replacing this right here. And then we're gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna be putting it back in the end over here. Let me see where we're at here. Sweet. So this is pretty good. And then you're gonna just put a bunch of, this is tape now, this is secure. There's actually a backing paper. You can kind of see the line, maybe you can on the camera. Pretty much put a bunch of these magnets, and then all you have to do is peel this back. So once you peel this back, you just start with this tail. This is why we make this so much easier, because you're just dealing with these smaller sections, right? So it's still seamless. However, you can just, peel this off in one piece. Look at that. So then once you're here, I like to just reinforce this alignment that we had previously, and then you just go straight into that. And then we're going to go ahead and focus a little bit on this line, which is right here. Cool. All right. So now we anchored this, and we can actually start going outwards that way. So what I like about this technique is you can kind of hold this like so, and then you're just creating that tension, just enough tension, so you can just push it up, right? And then look at that, there's enough on the edge, so you don't have to deal with it, okay? And for those of you wondering, we only use high quality materials. So this was printed on 1105 MPI on Avery Denizens printed film, and we use an eco-solvent printer, which I think provides the best color. I mean, each of those things are expensive, but man, they provide some killer colors. So once you get that top done, we have a second section. And I like to start here and go to the end because there's a tail, so that tail is a little bit weaker. So you just start from this side. Okay, so now we got all of these. You want to just focus on that line first. Right? And sometimes a little bit harder to see, but there we go. And I love this film because it has air release, so it is so much easier just to get all this bubbles out. So easy. Also, we're a little bit more cautious about saying that this is like super easy. This still requires patience. So like, if you are an extreme do-yourselfer, that's definitely who I recommend. But for something like this, I think it is pretty expensive. So, you know, you can work with some of our partners if you really want to do this, and then they could purchase from us directly. But again, that's why we have two versions, right? We have like the pro version, which is for shops, but also do yourself if you really want to tackle this. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel, and I could peel starting here. And then I focus on where we just peeled first. And then you can still use this right here because this one is not anchored right here in the bottom. And then typically we'll do a center out. So center and then out. And as long as it's not sticking anywhere, you should be able to just go center out like so. And then once we get closer, all right, so you can kind of see the process. It does make it a lot easier because think about it this way. You're not worrying about this section sticking because the backing paper is still on there, right? So for a do-yourselfer, that's a huge deal. Okay, I understand. If you're a professional, yeah, you're taking this off. You can stretch it across this panel. It doesn't really matter. You're good. But when you're a beginner, like all of these factor matters, right? Like how do I get this bubble out? How do I stretch this across? You know, we're kind of factoring in the mistakes into our kit so that we get it, like we understand, not just as professionals, but actual like owners of these cars, that you are going to make a mistake. So we're just kind of mindful of that, and that was kind of like the, I guess like the ethos and like the thought process on really everything we did for this product. So then you can go all the way out here. Boom. Hopefully you guys are just as excited as we are about launching this. I think this is a lot of fun. I get it, it's not for everybody. This is actually the first of our custom series. And at first we're like, let's just launch a bunch of like custom stuff, but then we realized you can get a lot of that elsewhere. So what we're gonna be really focusing on our custom series is just like things that, you know, make it really unique. So we're gonna go a little wild. We're gonna be a little bit more risky, I think, with some of our designs, but that's what we aim to do, right? So like this is done. All the edges are good. We're gonna put this trim back on. There we go. So if you have any designs that you're thinking of, something creative that you really want us to do, let us know. You know, we're definitely open. We have full production capability. So we also printed, laminated everything in-house in our warehouse and our shop, and then we send it out. We love being able to do that, and that's why we're able to move a lot quicker too. So this is about done. I just need to do the edges. We're gonna go ahead and do the whole side, and then we're actually gonna give you a reveal. So stay tuned, and we'll see you later, and make sure you click on that subscribe button. Let's go.